By the time of the death of Alexander the Great in 323 BC, Rome was already old. Its mythical founding by Romulus and Remus was 753 BC. Left to die, suckled by the she-wolf, they found the city. Romulus kills Remus and becomes Rome's first king. The brothers were also given an appropriate backstory. It was said that they were themselves descended from a hero of the Trojan War. These early centuries remain shrouded in myth. Rome remains a kingdom. Although the monarchy is not hereditary, each king is in fact elected, until 510 BC when Lucius Tarquinius Superbus is overthrown and the Roman Republic is born. This revolution was no less central to the Romans' idea of themselves than the story of Romulus, Remus and the she-wolf. A Roman citizen was free. He was subject not to despotism, but to the law. Politics in the Republic was a complex mosaic of free assemblies, representative officials, patronage, bribery, and corruption. The Aristocratic Senate reigned supreme, and was itself dominated by a handful of rival noble families. 2 consuls were elected from among its ranks to 1-year terms and acted as the chief executive, controlling the distribution of official offices, a series of lucrative priesthoods, and, in time, management of the provinces. For the Romans, this framework was held together by the pillars of religion, public service, and family. The Greek gods had been adopted wholesale, their names changed and the requisite feasts, ceremonies, and sacrifices etched into the calendar. And, just as the heavens pervaded every walk of life, so too did one's ancestors. Monitoring actions and ensuring your works paid appropriate homage to their memory. Whereas animal sacrifice and incense might placate Zeus, whom the Romans called Jupiter, your great-grandfather could demand something more substantial. Honour in battle, success in business, promotion to high office. In truth, this made for a powerful elixir, unleashing onto the Italian peninsula and wider Mediterranean a nest of vipers, faithful, driven, organised. The expansion of the Republic's borders into southern Italy and neighbouring Sicily brought Rome into conflict with its much older rival, Carthage. The subsequent Punic Wars, which raged from 264 to 146 BC, would see Rome brought to the brink of destruction at the hands of the general Hannibal, recover, force his retreat, and, in 146 BC, the total annihilation of Carthage itself. Carthage was razed, survivors sold into slavery, its fields ploughed and salted. This victory established Rome as the preeminent military power in the Mediterranean, although, as was feared by contemporaries, it also planted the seeds of its own destruction. To create and patrol this sprawling frontier, the army had to be reorganised. No longer drawn from a mass of volunteer peasants, soldiers became professional, and loyalties shifted from the home, from the soil, from Rome, to the generals that provided your wages, provided your glory. It was not long then before these vipers at the edge of empire began to reinterpret the bonds of public service, religion, family, and tradition that had held the Republic in place, to disregard convention, cross that Rubicon and win control of the empire's ultimate prize, Rome itself. In these next decades of war, bloodshed, and revolution, giants of Roman history take centre stage. The general and dictator Sulla, Pompey the Great, Cicero, Crassus, and Julius Caesar, Mark Antony, and Cleopatra, until Octavian, later known as Augustus, emerges in 31 BC to impose upon Rome the necessary mixture of extreme violence and political genius that provides for successive generations an appropriate political template. An emperor, in whose person is placed control of the army, political office, and the wealth of the richest provinces. not a dictator like Caesar, but a first amongst equals, a colleague of the Senate, sat to the side, monitoring their vote, sharpening his gladius. Nonetheless, it was a peace, and a new golden age flourished. Roads, bridges, trade, and literature, Virgil's The Aeneid, Ovid's Metamorphoses, Horace's Odes. As Augustus is said to have argued at the end of his life, I found Rome a city of bricks, and left it a city of marble. For the next 3.5 centuries, Rome laid the foundations of Europe's political, economic, and cultural future. In the sciences, trade, infrastructure, arts, law, and language, the empire facilitated the transfer of Greek and Italian innovations throughout its reaches, from Britain to Palestine. And in Christianity, it also provided the means for the growth and spread of a fringe Middle Eastern religious cult, from obscurity to preeminence in European and Western culture. The emperors following Augustus remain some of the most fascinating characters in European history. The maniacs Caligula and Nero, the builder of the Colosseum Vespasian, of the wall Hadrian, of philosophy Marcus Aurelius. Although in truth most are remembered for their personalities and lifestyles, rather than grandiose achievements. The empire reached its peak in size somewhere around 117 AD. There are periods of civil war and violence. Rival emperors are declared and defeated, assassinated and exiled. In 286, the empire is split into east and west in an effort to improve its management and prevent the recurrent emergence of regional factionalism. Of consequence, the Emperor Constantine moves the capital from Rome to the newly formed Constantinople in 330 AD, in a move that effectively signals the death of Rome as a centre of importance. A series of invasions by Goth and Vandal tribes expedites decline, and the city falls in 476 AD. The eastern half continues to flourish, however, and in time will become known as the Byzantine Empire. Thanks for listening. If you like this, subscribe and comment below.